Hello! Thank you for clicking on this live stream today, guys. I really appreciate it. This is my Monday AMA. I do these Mondays at 3 p.m. every Monday, and that's Eastern Standard Time. The reason I do these every Monday is because I feel like there's a lot of new people coming into the Cardano community. There's a lot of new addresses being created. There's just a lot going on in the ecosystem. So by doing these AMAs every Monday, for people that can't stay up to date, they can catch these Monday AMAs and ask me questions, or they can catch them later on and kind of hear what's going on in the community, what questions people already have. So yeah, I'm going to be doing these Monday AMAs forever, until the end of time. So I would really appreciate it if you guys started to mark your calendar and come to these if you do enjoy them. But first, before we hop into it, we're also going to be going over what are oracles. They're the first oracles have been created on Cardano. They're tracking some data. We're going to be going over what is an oracle. We're going to be talking about the first oracles on Cardano. We're going to be going over a lot of cool stuff today. But first and foremost, if you guys want to support me and my channel, the best way you can do so is delegating to Bloom or Bloom 2. Soon there will be more Bloom pools after the K increase, but currently we have Bloom and Bloom 2. We have a 2.5 million pledge to secure the network from Sybil attacks, and we have over 3,000 addresses already delegated to Bloom. So that shows you that the network already trusts Bloom. We're here to be making blocks for a long time. Also, if you want to support my channel, please download the Brave browser. It blocks ads and pays you with cryptocurrency, so you don't have to view those ads, right? And then it also blocks the trackers within those ads, and those trackers actually take your data and sell them to other advertisers, right? So protect your data, support my channel, and have a faster ad-free browser. It's a no-brainer. So how are you guys all doing today? I see Sassy Boy. What's up, man? Thanks for swinging by. The L337 Lance, what's up, man? Daniel, what's up from the UK? Greg said, hi, what's up, Greg? Thanks for swinging by today. Daniel said, will Ergo be involved? Yes. Sassy Boy said, like the video before we even watch it. I like to hear that, man. Rob Greg said, Hoodie, I've been playing with Marlow Playground. It's cool for beginners. It should gain a lot of new devs. That's awesome, man. How is Marlow? Ira Bliss, what's up, man? Thanks for swinging by. We currently have 30 viewers. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Click that notification bell. I always have to do this inverted because of the camera. Click that notification bell right there and click all. That really supports my channel more than you would think. That algorithm's pretty hard to catch. Sorry for being a little late today, guys. The reason I'm late is I had someone from the bank call me, so I had to deal with the bank. But 3 p.m. EST every week. We'll let a little bit of more people come in, and then we will start with the oracles. Josco said, when will Aida be accepted on the Brave browser? That'd be pretty awesome, man. I would enjoy that. Lance said, hey, Pay, glad to be here. I'm happy you're here too, man. Thanks for swinging by. So it seems like we've had a good amount of people join. All right, so we'll start the Oracle talk. So these are the first ever oracles on Cardano. I thought this was pretty cool, and they were actually made by a third party. All right, so we are back. So I'm not going to be able to see your chats for a second, so we're going to check out the oracles. So you actually can view this website at nut.link, right? So what is this about? This service provides the first generation of oracles running on the Cardano blockchain. It uses metadata to record data from the outside world to the blockchain. But everyone, but primarily dApps developers can reuse this data. The oracles registry is recorded under transaction metadata label 1967, and data points are posted under label 1986. Your application can view data directly on the blockchain. Here's an example of displaying the current price of Aida in euros if you're using Cardano DB Sync database. So yeah, that's just a little bit techie for you guys. But yeah, this is pretty cool, right? So right now, nut.link Oracle is serving the following data points from different sources. So we have Aida USD, and that data is coming from CoinGecko. We have, let me go ahead and turn myself on busy on Slack. I keep getting notifications. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so then we have the Ergo Oracle pools from Aida USD. So we're actually taking that from the already Ergo Oracle pools. So the price of Aida and USD. And then we have from CoinGecko, ErgUSD, and then ErgUSD from Oracle pools from Ergo. And then we have Aida Euro from CoinGecko, and then we actually have the Tesla. I'm sure that's the Tesla price, and the source of that is the investors exchange. So the values of these data points are posted to the Cardano mainnet approximately once an hour. And then you can actually add your own data points. And then also you can actually help fund this. So you can extend the Oracle's life by feeding this address right here. So if you guys want to check out this website, feed this address. You like seeing the first Oracles. All you have to do is send a little bit of Aida to that address, right? So this is by a third party. This is not by IOG, the first Oracles. Where I think his name's Marek. You guys, I'm sure it says it somewhere down here. Yeah, so Steak Nuts and then Marek Mahout. So awesome job. So you asked some good questions here. What is an Oracle? An Oracle is a blockchain, or in the blockchain is a trusted source of data that sends information from the outside world to the blockchain, exposing it to tools and smart contracts. So I'm going to switch back to the chat, but I thought that was pretty cool. It's nice to see that. So how are they doing this, right? So we don't have Goguen. It's because we have a little part of Goguen right now. We have this way to store metadata in the blockchain, and you can do that with JSON files. So if you're using the command line interface on Linux, you can actually create a transaction, and within that transaction, you can actually store a JSON file, and within that JSON file, you can store metadata. So essentially what they're doing with these oracles is every hour, they're doing a transaction, and that transaction stores the data from the sources that we mentioned earlier onto the blockchain. So in my opinion, that's pretty cool. We can go back to just me. It's cool to see the first ever oracles coming to Cardano. I'm excited to see some more and more data points in the future. But yeah, that's really all I got for you guys today. I did want to show you something about the website, but we'll read some comments real quick, and then we'll hop onto the Bloom website. Max said, "Whoa, Chainlink can take a back seat." Yeah, tell that to Marek. Linda said, "Hey, Pay, what's up? Hope all is well. I hope all is well with you too, Linda. Thanks for swinging by today." Carlos said, "What up? What's up, man?" John Doe said, "Where can we buy it?" There's no. What do you mean? Where can we buy what? Do you mean the oracles? Land said, "When will Ergo be listed on Binance and other major exchanges?" I think it might take a little bit of time. You know, I think Ergo is still a little bit. It's a little bit not heard of, you know, but I think with Ergo working with them, I think they're going to become a lot more known, you know. Danny said, "Thank you for covering this, Pay. I was thinking of looking into this myself, and I'm grateful for your analysis, which makes the investigation easier." Yeah, man, and that's what I'm not too knowledgeable on what Oracle pools are, and it's for one reason. It's because they really haven't been added to Cardano thus far. You know, I'm knowledgeable about Cardano stuff, and that's really it's really about it. I've been trying to branch out, but I do know how the Oracle data is stored, and that's through those metadata within the transaction that I was talking about earlier. So I hope that kind of explains to you guys how it's being done, and also shows you really what the first feature that we have currently with Goguen is. So. Brian said, "How many Bloom pools are you setting up before December, and how much pledge in each?" It's a good question. So I think we're looking at, so with the amount of Aida we have right now, we're looking at 6 Bloom pools. But I think we're going to stick with 5. Initially, we're going to start off with 5. Because we have a big whale in our pool that I don't think is going to stay. The whale moves around often. It's a whale with 58 million Aida. So that would have to be a pool for themselves, you know, so I'm not going to take them into account in my calculations. But day one, we're going to be doing 5 Bloom pools. And as far as how much pledge we're going to do, so we've been thinking about this a lot. And the reason that we charge 5% is because we provide the YouTube videos, we provide staking guides, we answer your questions, we have 24/7 support, and we also have a lot of skin in the game, right? We have a 2.5 million pledge in both pools, and I think to keep those fees, to keep charging this, to keep providing a premium service, we're going to have to increase our pledge, right? We're going to have to put more skin in the game, just to prove to you guys that we're doing this, right? No matter what. So the first thing that we're going to do is open up a third pool. And that pool is going to have 1.5 million pledge in it. And that third pool, it's going to be a 1.5 million pledge extra on top of what we already have in Bloom 3. And then Bloom 4 will have 1.5 million. and so will Bloom 5. But what we're going to be doing, so we have this 7.5 million pledge total, right? So you guys know as delegates that Bloom is going to pledge 7.5 million Aida to the network no matter what as our skin in the game. So when we increase to 5 pools, when we actually have 5 total, what it's going to be is 7.5 million total divided by 5. So 1.5 million in each pool. Right, so that's a good question, man. I do appreciate that question, but I hope that makes sense to you guys. So we're going to be increasing our pledge 2.5 million total, so we provide more skin in the game, provide more rewards across all pools. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think of that. Carlos said, "Get another juice." I wish I would have got this super chat before. I'd be sipping right now. Thanks, Carlos. I really appreciate it. I do remember the reference. Rob Gregg said, "Can you add the link below?" I'll send it in the chat right now, and I'll add it afterwards. It's pretty simple. It's actually just nut.link. So let me send that in the chat. There you go. Pedro said, or Pedro, I don't know why I said Pedro. Do you have a guesstimate for the Coinbase listing? I don't know. We're past 0.5D, so my guess was always below 0.5, like D equals 0.5, which we are now, 50 or below. And it's either going to be that or it's going to be after 0. Coinbase has always said that they list coins based on their decentralization, right? So they've always stated that they're waiting on Cardano for decentralization. And then at the same time, you have IOG using Coinbase as a custodial listing. And I've looked looked at other coins that have done that in the history. And it seems like that's what it always starts out as, right? It starts out as custodial holdings for Aida or for any other coin. And that provides liquidity to Coinbase. And then following the custodial holdings comes the actual listing where everyday users can actually purchase it. So it's all speculation, but I could definitely see a listing within the next couple of months. Pyra said, "It's nice to see real things being done after years of research. Well done, Cardano." Yeah, it's like every week something is coming out about Cardano. It's really awesome. Tomek said, "What is the name Oracle?" That's just the name of what's being done. It's just essentially taking outside real world data and including that in the. I guess I can just mute that. Okay. It's essentially taking like outside real world data and storing it on the blockchain. That's what an Oracle is. As far as where the name comes from, I'm not like an English major or anything. So, Sassy Boy said, "Are we at Q&A now?" Yeah, we are at Q&A. Yeah, for sure, man. Rob Gregg said, "Does pledge affect rewards?" It does. There's this parameter called A0, and A0 is the percentage rewards that increase that you receive over someone without a pledge, right? So A0 is currently set at 0.3, and what that means is that the person, and it's variable, right? It's going to be depending, so you can't really get exact numbers, but at the top of the scale, at the top of the A0 scale, that person will earn, or that pool will earn 30% more rewards than the person at the bottom of that scale, right? So it's very variable. It's based on the amount of pledges, the average amount of pledge in the whole system, right? So you can't just say like, 1 million pledge earns you 30% more. The number's always changing. So yeah, pledge does affect rewards. Manuel said, "Are rewards going to shrink from now on?" No. Do you mean from the K increase? And then if you mean from the K increase, then we can talk about that. So how are they going to be named? Bloom 3. So we're going to keep the current name scheme. It's going to be Bloom, capital B, and then T, capital T. So Bloom 3, and then the rest of the characters are lowercase. So just 2 capital letters, B and then T. So Bloom 3 and then Bloom 4. And we're also going to be having to move towards the stake pool IDs. So if you guys are supporters of Bloom and you want to delegate to new Bloom pools, we're going to have to be checking out the stake pool IDs from now on, because even though we have Bloom copyrighted, there are people stealing Bloom's name and Bloom's picture and Bloom's website. There are people trying to mimic and copy us, try to take some of our delegates. So the best way you can stay away from that is by actually looking at the pool ID, right? You look at the pool ID on the website or on Pool Tool or Aida Pools. You can also even verify it with me over email or on Discord before you delegate. So it's very important to check pool IDs. There are a lot of fake. I've already gotten one fake Bloom pool taken down, and there's a second fake Bloom pool already up. So good question. I appreciate that. New World said, do you think Coinbase will list Aida in December? It could happen, man. You never know. Not financial advice though. Denny said Oracle of Delphi, I believe. Yeah. That's what I had in mind too, is Oracle of Delphi. It's been a long time since I've really even read about that, so I wasn't gonna start talking about it. Do you see PayPal listing Aida? Yeah, I do. Do you think Cardano will dethrone Ethereum? Initially, I don't think so, but I think if we do provide higher transactions per second, and we do provide a cheaper way for everyone to do the same thing, and a more efficient way, and a better way to do everything, then we will be competing with Ethereum at first, right? We're going to be competing with them, and then they're going to try to really catch up to us, right? So that's what's nice about these systems is if someone does better than we do, we can essentially mimic what they've done better and add it into our system, right? So then we have our pros, their pros, without their cons, right? So I do believe that we will start competing with Ethereum. But as far as dethroning them, I think that's a long time away, and I think we should really look more into competing with them, providing incentives for people to come over here, and really just staying ahead with those incentives for other people, right? I think it's going to be a long time coming if we're to actually dethrone Ethereum. You know, people love Ethereum, right? There's this kind of maximalist following behind Ethereum as there is with Bitcoin, you know, and we're starting to build that with Aida, you know, so it's going to take some time if we are to dethrone them. I mean, but even if we're competing with them, you know, if we're competing with them and we only have, I think we're sitting at around 10% of their current market cap, right? I mean, imagine if we see a bull run and we're 20% or 30% of their market cap. You know, the Aida price is going to be looking pretty good. Ira Bliss said, when will they be turned on? 3 and 4. So 3 will be turned on later this week, and then 4 will be turned on next week. We're probably going to be doing probably one pool a week. We'll do 3 and then 4 and then 5, and then we'll be stopping at 5 currently. What's the rewards account for the portion of the Aida wallet? I see the rewards go there and automatically get added to stake, but why and when to claim them? Thanks. That's an awesome question, Christopher. I've been thinking about actually making a video on kind of how the rewards actually work. So what happens when you're actually paid rewards is they're paid to your staking address. So you have 2 different types of addresses in Cardano. You have your payment address and you have your staking address. And the payment address is the ADDR1 that you guys see to receive rewards, or the ones that you type in when you send rewards to someone else. They're strictly for payment. You have another address called a staking address. And those are tied to your staking public key and staking secret key, just as your payment address is tied to your payment public key and payment secret key. So what happens when you're actually paid rewards is a stake pool pays rewards to that staking address. And it's not like I click, okay, Bobby earned this much, I click yes. It's automatically done on the blockchain. I don't have any control over you receiving your rewards, but after those are paid to your address, they're sitting there, right? They're in that address, but you can't really send or receive using that staking address. So when you claim it, or when you click that claim button on your ROI, you're essentially signing a transaction and extracting the rewards from the staking address to your payment address. So as in, when should you actually do that? Whenever you want, right? If you're not planning on sending that Aida or doing anything with that Aida anytime soon, there's really no reason to claim it. You know, you might as well just let it pile up in there forever without spending that transaction fee, because there's really no benefit to claiming it. As far as Daedalus, because you guys know your ROI has that claim button. Daedalus, I think, just claims it for you every epoch. It's really weird how they do it. They just add up your total sum of rewards, they add it to your payment address, but there's really no claim button on there, right? So I think what Daedalus does is it's paid to your staking address, and then Daedalus just claims it automatically each epoch. It's really weird. I've been meaning to ask someone like kind of what's going on there with Daedalus. I don't like it. I like apps, or not apps, but wallets to be kind of more true to form, you know, like your ROI is. Your ROI is a lot more true to the protocol I think, than Daedalus is, so that was a good question, though, man. I really appreciate it. I hope that helps. So there really is no reason to claim it if you're just continually staking. Then he said, I think that an increase in A naught will be used to decrease the number of pools per operator post K increases. Do you have any thoughts on this? Yeah, Denny, that's exactly what the A naught parameter is for, right? So you have the decentralized, or K, which is essentially the optimum number of stake pools, right? So I've said this for a while, for a little bit now. When you increase K, you're not really going to get more decentralization unless you provide more incentive for that decentralization, right? And that incentive is that A naught parameter. Because if you don't incentivize people to not create more pools, they're just going to do that. And in my opinion, IOG is actually doing the opposite of incentivizing people to stick for one pool, right? We went over this in my K parameter video. Currently, the max amount of money that you can make from a stake pool at 3% is 13,000 US dollars, and that's slowly going down as the price of Aida is going down. But obviously, we've talked about this. $13,000 is not enough to pay for my servers, my lawyer, my accountant, my time spent in marketing, really just everything that goes behind a business that's meant to be here and provide a service for the Cardano network for a long time. $13,000 is not enough to provide the best infrastructure, or to provide the best service, or provide a sustainable business, right? So I think by them increasing K to 500 this early, they're actually incentivizing people to create more pools. I mean, it's just plain as day to me. Because also that A naught parameter that we talked about that incentivizes people to pledge more money to one pool is not high enough to stop people from creating more pools, right? So I do think A naught will be increased in the future, and that's kind of us at Bloom. We're already prepared for that. We rank among the top, I would say, 10 to 30 pools. In terms of pledge, in terms of the highest rewards. That was our business model all along. Provide a premium service, provide a premium staking service, provide high pledge to show we have skin in the game. We're going to be a long operating business, and just to provide the highest rewards, right? So I do think A naught's going to be increased in the future, when we do have plans to either add more pledge in the future if we need to. We're going to do whatever it takes to provide you the highest rewards, right? But I don't even think we'll need to because we already are among the top 10 to 30 people in the network when it comes in terms of pledge. And I think because K is increasing, a lot of people are actually going to lower their pledge a pretty drastic amount. Motivation, he said, smash the like button. He's right. There's only 33 likes and 84 concurrent viewers. What the heck's going on? Smash that like button. Click that notification bell. The YouTube algorithm and I need you. Ira Bliss said, okay, wow. What were you responding to? I'm sorry. I went on a little tangent there for a minute. Pyzel said, or Pyexel, that's hard to pronounce. It says, Oracle can run for 75 days with 1,000 Aida it has. That's so cheap compared to Ethereum. Yeah, it's really cheap, man. I mean, it costs like 0.17 Aida for a transaction. And essentially what that Oracle's doing is it's creating a metadata transaction every hour for each of those listings, right? So every hour, it's only burning 0.17 Aida, right? So, I mean, it can go on for a long time, which is pretty cool. Okay. Any idea when Aida will hit its max supply of 45 billion? I've got no idea. I know it's going to be a long time, though. Years. It's not going to be 4 or 5 years. It's going to be a long time. I would like to see Cardano working with large institutions to get them to build on Cardano. The IMF and central banks around the world are talking about... Excuse me. I ate some salsa before this. The IMF and central banks around the world are talking about making CBDCs. Centralized banks, decentralized currencies. I think that's what CBDCs means. I just kind of guessed. But yeah, I do think Cardano is working on talking with bigger institutions. That interview I did with Frederick Regard, awesome interview, by the way. I really enjoyed talking to him. I think that's one of his main goals, right? And then also Cardano Node just added the ability for multi-sig wallets. Multi-sig wallets allow, because you got to think about a big institution, right? If you have, let's say, $100 million on the line, you need multi-signature wallets. You're not going to just have one techie guy that has the signature for the wallets and the signature to send money, right? So I think the era of big institutions using Cardano is now, right? We have Multi-Sig being added to Cardano node. We have Frederick really focusing on that. And I think he was really specifically talking about working with hospitals, because you have Haskell, and Haskell is meant to be a language that has no fault, right? And that's great for really the banking industry or industries like hospitals where things are very important. You can't mess anything up. So I do think, I agree with you, though. We do need to start working with big institutions, and I hope that time's now. Aida the King said, hello, friends. What's up, man? Thanks for swinging by. I appreciate you always coming to my live streams, man. Sassy Boy said, no offense to big stake pool operators, but taking K to 500 doesn't help small stake pool operators if all the big pools just add more pools and disperse the decelerators. Doesn't that defeat taking K to 500? So you're right. I mean, so increasing K to 500 without the proper incentives isn't going to, it's not going to just help small stake pool operators. Who it's going to help, and they even said this in the article, who it's going to help is the medium to large, or the medium operators, right? So the operators that are at like 20 to 30 million. That's going to be really helpful for them. It's going to make them competitive. And you state, well, doesn't that defeat the purpose for small stake pool operators, right? So as we talked about earlier, you're limited to $13,000 per node. And like I said, I just can't operate my business. I can't provide the same service that I do. I mean, we have 7.5 million pledge delegated to Bloom, or that we're pledging to Bloom to say we have skin in the game, right? I mean, at the current price, that's $750,000. So there's some opportunity cost attached to that, right? So how can we have that opportunity cost attached to one pool that only earns $13,000 a year when that doesn't even pay for servers, the lawyer, the accountant, for me, my time, my marketing? There has to be incentive to pledge to one pool. The price of Aida needed to be higher for operators to not make more pools, right? The price would have had to be higher. And also IOG's response to that was, well, everyone just needs to increase their margins, right? You can only earn $13,000 at 3%. So their response is, increase your margins, everybody. Let's increase to 5%, to 10%, to 15%, so we can just have less pools but charge more percent. And let me ask you guys as delegates, would you stay with Bloom if we increased past 5%? I don't think so, because there's already going to be there always will be somebody that has a 0% pool. There's always going to be somebody with a 1% pool or a 2% pool, right? There's 1,300 stake pools already in the market right now. So you have this saturated market, and that's a high supply. So when you have a reasonable demand and a high supply, what happens is people lower prices, right? So to me, the argument of, well, just raise margins. I mean, even if you're charging, the raising margins thing doesn't work. There's too high of a supply and too low of a demand for us all just to raise margins, because there always will be someone willing to charge less. Ira said, when will 3 be live? Date and time. I'll release the date and time later this week. Smashing the like button won't give you COVID. Thanks for that. Philly said, how many Aidas are in a block? That's constantly changing, and it's attached to the D parameter. So off the top of my head, I would want to say like 3,000 to 4,000, 5,000. It's a pretty big. Piazel said, who the hell put the finger down button? I have haters, man. I always get the down finger buttons. Diamond Mine said, I pressed the like button and then sprayed some Lysol on it, so everybody should be good. Thanks, man. That's what we were all worried about. It was the Lysol. Or the COVID, not the Lysol. The Raphael said, which wallet do you recommend for staking? It's a good question. I recommend the Yoroi wallet. The Yoroi wallet specifically for security purposes tied to a ledger or a Trezor. I actually did just get a Trezor. I actually bought this. It's pretty cool. Hold on, let's see if I can get it to focus. It's cool because it's touchscreen. I like it. I actually bought this because Daedalus is about to actually add hardware support. So we're going to have Trezor support on Aida Lite, on Yoroi, and on Daedalus. It was pretty expensive. It was $150, but I wanted to kind of complete my staking collection, right? So I have how to stake with Ledger with Yoroi, how to stake in Daedalus, how to stake in Yoroi, how to stake in Aida Lite. So I just felt I felt like Tracer was missing, right? So even though I didn't need one really or want one, I just I needed to complete the collection. I feel like that's one of the services that Bloom provides. Is to have all of the staking videos to show everyone how to stake. So you will be seeing those videos come soon. Brad said, algorithmic stable coins that have been teased. Any guesses? I have no guesses, man. I haven't really seen. I have all the info that you do, really, about stable coins, what Charles has talked about. And Charles is really the one who always gives us a little bit of details, right? He kind of throws us a bone sometimes. He's mentioned IOG making DeFi protocols, stable coins, but really no details past that. I also know that Ergo is working on a stable coin with Ergo on the Ergo blockchain, that they're going to use that data that they derive from the Ergo blockchain and build a stable coin for Cardano, right? So we're going to see a couple different stable coins, and we're going to be able to choose our own. We're also going to be able to have USDC come over to Cardano, right? We saw the ERC20 converter. I had that in my video where you could essentially just apply for your coin to be taken over. And I use USDC to have like some USD liquidity on exchanges. So I think USDC will probably be one of those first ERC20 tokens that we see come over. So we're going to have a lot of options relative to stable coins. So and I want to say last thing, I forgot to say this. I worded my response to just big pool operators hurt small pools by creating more pools. I mean, one thing that has to be mentioned here, and I think this is a very unpopular opinion, but I just have to be honest, guys. If we rely on morality in the system, right? So as a Cardano ambassador, I get a lot of replies and they say, how as a Cardano ambassador can you create more pools, right? And they're essentially stating that I morally should not create any more pools. And I want to say something. If Cardano relies on the morals of the people in the system, then the system will fail. It's just as simple as that. You cannot rely on the morals of people in a decentralized system. There's just no way. The system has to incentivize action and nothing else. You can't rely on the morals of somebody in a different country that speaks a different language. You can't. Cultures have different morals, right? So I'm telling you, if we have to rely on the morals of people in the system, then other than the voting, right, then the system will fail. I just wanted to put that out there. So we need to look at these parameters. So if there is 20 Binance pools and 20 Coinbase pools, and then we need to look at the ANOT parameter. We need to look at maybe Sean's proposal of a weighted kind of a curve, really, that impacts the 500,000 pledge range to the 5 million pledge range, right? Because we're going to have Binance come in here without their morals, and they're going to create 20 pools. You're going to have Coinbase come in here, probably 40 pools, right? Coinbase 40 pools, Binance 40 pools, and they're going to pledge the total amounts of their pool, right? So it's you can't rely on morals in this system, or the system will fail. You have to keep that in mind. I know that's unpopular, man, but I have to say it. Denny said, the only thing that will truly help small pool operators is the one-to-many and staking portfolios. Yeah, I agree with you. And also, I've mentioned it before, the minimum cost per epoch is a big hit to people at 1 million to 2 million range. The D parameter was a big hit, right? As the D parameter lowers, it's easier and easier to mint a block. But at D equals 0.5, it's a lot easier to mint a block. But that was a big hitter back then, you know. Moon 2021 into the year. I hope so, man. Flores says, so true. I don't remember what I said to get the so true. What's up, Eye of the King? I like your content. Diamond likes your content, man. Awesome job. Anton said, true. I'm with you on Uroi. Being king. Yeah, king. Yeah, Uroi is king, man. Joseph says, more pools equals more elasticity. Crestsped, absolutely. Morality has no place in a decentralized finance system. Yeah, exactly, man. And it's also, like, I keep hearing people say that that I as a Cardano ambassador should not create more pools because I'm a Cardano ambassador. And to me, it's like, are Cardano ambassadors supposed to essentially be sacrificial lambs of morality? You know what I mean? Or I guess you could say sacrificial animals of morality, right? So essentially Cardano ambassadors cannot compete with Binance and Coinbase and IOHK because we're ambassadors. That just doesn't make much sense to me. George said, so you're saying you're having to play like Binance. No, I'm saying that I have to run a business and I do have to compete with Binance and Coinbase and Kraken and Aida Light, you know, and Ergo and IOG, you know, I do have to compete with them. Yeah, and that's what kind of makes me so mad about people saying that who are you to create more than 2 pools when K equals 500, when K equals 150? IOG created 20 pools, right? And they're taking them down now, but they're only taking them down after people complained about it for multiple months. So they set the tone there, you know. I mean, what's 20? That's probably, like, off the top of my head, 13% of the total network, you know? So, I mean, that sets the tone right there. Sassy Boy said, you are doing what you have to do to survive. Business is business and survival of the fittest. Exactly, man. Miles said, it's business. Free market capitalism is under attack. Competition is healthy for a free market economy. Keep up the good work, pay. Morals are a virtue signal to manipulate the market. Yeah, man, I'm all about morals, you know, our morals. We've talked about it with transparency. I tell you guys exactly how I feel. I mean, that's why I come in here and state and say that if we rely on morals in this ecosystem, then it will fail, right? But at the same time, one of the key things of Bloom is transparency, right? So I'm telling you how much you earn per node at saturation at 3%, you know. It is what it is, you know. I do want to compete with Binance and Coinbase and IOG and Ergo, you know. I mean, Ergo is going to have probably 15 pools off the top of my head. So, I mean, that just shows what we're heading into, you know. Cortez says, which computer is good for running a pool? So there's really no specialized computer for running a pool. You want to have it in Linux. The minimum specs that are recommended is 2 cores, 4 gigabytes of RAM. If you want to future-proof a little bit, I would say go with 4 cores, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 8 to 16 gigs of RAM, and an SSD. An SSD is very important, at least during the ITN. I've noticed that an SSD, the way it writes the blockchain, is very important. So I would recommend getting like a 500 gigabyte SSD if you're getting a computer at home, because if you're getting a computer at home, you want to have some future-proofing, you know, because you're not going to just be like as easy as it is like on like Google Cloud to upgrade your node. You know, you can't really do that at home. You can upgrade the SSD, but if you update the processor, you're going to have to buy a new motherboard, you know, and maybe if you're switching, you're going to have to get new RAM, you know, so it's good to kind of future-proof a little bit when you're buying home hardware. Big Pay said, well, it's not so much about relying on morals, but more about modeling human behavior via game theory. Yeah, so it's, I see what you're saying, man, but human behavior is based on incentives. I mean, it's that simple, right? So if you don't incentivize people to have all of their pledge in one pool, then that's not going to happen, especially when you limit that to that price that we mentioned earlier. Diamond Mind said, now that you've used Trezor, what's your thoughts compared to Ledger? Diamond Mind, I'm actually going to be making a video comparing Ledger and Trezor on my second channel. It's Big Pay Clips if you guys want to check it out. I will be releasing that video. I haven't had enough time to really do a deep dive on both of them before I kind of release that information yet. I'm going to give it some more time. I'm going to stake with both of them. I'm going to figure out which one I like. One thing about Trezor, though, especially with Cardano, is you can actually have multiple wallets on one hardware device with Trezor. You can't do that with Ledger. So, I mean, that's a kind of a buying point alone right there. So. Dash said, I'm also concerned about the inoperability and the large enterprise pool getting wrapped LCC transactions over smaller pools. Can you explain on that a little bit more? Denny said, once on-chain / DeFi liquidity, picking up the advantage of storing your coins at an exchange goes down. The benefits decrease and the cost. Risk of exchange hacking is always present. Yeah, so one thing I actually thought about is... So we're talking a lot about unpopular opinions today. But with the saturation level going down to 64 million, everyone thought I was a doomer, right? On my last video, I kept getting a bunch of comments and saying, you always think it's going to be worse than it is. You always think it's going to be worse than it is. I mean, a little bit, right? I am a little bit more cynical, I think, about things than some people. I'm a little bit of a doomer. But I just, from experience, I can see 64 million saturation level at this price point being a big problem for not only pools, but for delegates. Because, I mean, think about how much easier it would be as a delegate just to, I mean, right now Binance is offering a crazy percent. It's not sustainable. They're not going to be doing it for long. But think about the ease of use of just keeping all of your Aida in Binance, right? You don't have to worry about saturation. You don't have to worry about switching pools. You don't have to worry about anything. I mean, you can literally just leave your Aida in Binance and just let it stake forever, And I think for a lot of people, that's going to be pretty enticing, especially when you have to deal with 64 million saturation all the time, at this price level. Just a thought, and especially with rewards going down with that. So, Sassy Boy said, what happened to voting and rewards? Voting was actually delayed. Project Catalyst voting was delayed. As far as to when, we have no idea. I was hoping it was kind of already going to be here by now. The voting was supposed to start on the 21st. Because I have been making the Cardano Aura episodes to kind of give you guys a rundown of what the podcast will be, but I haven't gotten funding for it thus far. So, yeah, I was kind of hoping the voting was going to be on the 21st, because to me, it's kind of like the vote is telling me if you guys enjoy the podcast, right? If you want to see it coming, and then when I have the funding, I can improve. I can have a better camera, better infrastructure, just better everything. But if you guys vote no on it, then that means you don't want it, So I'm kind of just making this podcast, and I don't really even know if you guys enjoy it, But ours says maybe they should ask for ID for each pool. No, you don't want to attach government IDs to the blockchain. And then limit 2 for individuals and 5 for corporations. Yeah, you just can't do that. And that's the thing, is there is a business behind Bloom, right? It's not just me in my house with a computer that it's in my attic. I mean, there are multiple people behind Bloom. Multiple people work every day for the operation of Bloom, right? So if we're doing one pool per person, then we're still well within our bounds. Darrod said, what are your thoughts on the Marlow launch? I feel like no one is talking about it in the wider crypto community, and to me, it's an absolute game changer for the adoption by financial services. I agree with you, Dar. A lot of people don't really talk about Cardano. I mean, we've been getting out there a little bit more, but it's really on us to push these releases. As they come out, I don't think people are going to be interested in them unless you show them the utility with a service that's already created, right? You're going to have to see a DeFi protocol that incentivizes people to come to Cardano because of how cheap it is, and say, this was built in Marlow. And then people are going to be like, what's Marlow? And it's something anybody can learn, So that's going to be what incentivizes people to do it, not an alpha release, So it's going to take some time for people to be interested in that. But I do see the use and utility of Marlow and think that it is big as far as the whole crypto space goes. So it says there's 125 people here. That's pretty crazy. You guys seem to enjoy the Monday AMAs. I'm going to keep doing them. So every Monday at 3 p.m. EST, I'll be doing an AMA. I'll be answering your guys' questions. These are important as there's a lot of new people coming to the Cardano community. So just make sure you come with your questions. Also, please leave a like on this, or click that click that notification bell. It really does support me, and feel free to ask your questions. Real quick, I wanted to take a second and show you guys. I guess I should catch up on the questions. I'll do a quick run through. And then I'm going to show you guys what it actually, the new website that we have. Not new website, but new page on our website. Gallon said, so what are the legal accounting costs associated with stake pool operation? That's going to highly depend on your lawyer and your accountant, but it's not cheap because we are in the crypto space. Cryptocurrency is a new and emerging technology, and it's also kind of a financial technology, right? So that makes the laws even more kind of wonky, and a lot of the laws that are in place are vague. A lot of them have gray areas, so you have to pay a crypto lawyer to ensure that you're following those laws to your best understanding. And these laws can constantly change and constantly evolve. Same with the accounting laws, right? I mean, how hard is it to not only find a lawyer that knows all of these laws, that keeps up to date with them, that knows kind of how to operate within those laws, but also an accountant that knows all of the cryptocurrency laws and knows all the crypto tax laws. I mean, it's going to be a lot more expensive than your average lawyer, so the cost is pretty high. So what happens in December 6th when one of your pools has over 100 million in it? Motivation niche, there's going to be more pools for you to move to if that were to happen. We're going to be slowly moving out of the pools that we're in now into Bloom 3 and Bloom 4. Bloom 3 will be up later this week, so if you want to do an early migration, you can. But I know you love Bloom 2, though, so my goal is to allow the people that want to stay in Bloom and Bloom 2 to do so, because you do start to favor pools, right? I've been in Bloom this whole time, not Bloom 2. I actually just made a second wallet that's in Bloom 2, so I understand where you're coming from, but we will be dealing with that. Also keep in mind that I do know somebody that delegates to Bloom that has over 60 million Aida, so they can really use that to control saturation, right? So that's just kind of a feature that we have. We've been using that the whole time. That's why our pools are leveled at 170 million a piece. It also shows that we can level out the saturation between multiple pools, Irene said, yes, we value your streams. I appreciate it. I was thinking about the same thing around Binance staking, but when someone helped me understand the lockup period, yeah, there is a lockup period right now, but there wasn't a month ago, right? I think that lockup period will go away. Delegation portfolios will partially give Daedalus and wallet staking the set and forget experience. Yeah, I think we really need those, especially with this K increase. Dude, where are the likes? Come on, folks. Gently press the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly. Okay. Sassy Boy said, how did you find your crypto account? I can't seem to find one. I'm actually using a service. I can't seem to find one either, man. I'm actually paying for a service to use, like a software, not really a person, I still need to pay a person too, So we're going to switch back to just both, and then we're going to take a look at some of the new website features. So we're all worried about saturation right now, right? So I'm going to show you guys something new that Bloompool's offering, and it's going to be a weekly newsletter, right? We're not going to send you any emails other than one email a week, and also a saturation notification, right? So like I said, my goal is to allow people to stay if they want, but if you're interested in moving, please sign up for our weekly email service. All you have to do is come to Bloom, bloompool.io, come to staking. We also added a staking calculator that's based on the rewards that you earn with Bloom. So you guys can figure out the rewards that you'll earn in the future with our staking calculator right here. So big shout out to Anthony for making that. Then we also actually have a email list now. Like I said, one email a week. It's very important to not over spam you guys, and then one email if a pool is saturated, right? So just sign up with your email right here. We'll be very careful not to not only share your email, it'll only be with us, but to not over spam you, because I hate that. Also, it's important to check these Bloom pool IDs right here when you're delegating to a pool, because we have fake Bloom pools. They're trying to steal you. They're trying to steal our loyal delegates, and you won't earn rewards with those other Bloom pools. So yeah, I just think that you guys need to set up with this. We're also going to be setting up Discord notifications. The next AMA, I'll be showing you guys how to actually set up Discord notifications, where it'll email you, or not email you, but message you on Discord if your pool's saturated. Also, one more thing, we actually did have a sponsor of this AMA today. It was Alien Stake Pool. There's a link in the description down below for Alien Stake Pool. They've sponsored the last few videos, and it is really a big help to my channel. Because as you guys know, I only get paid like $3 for these videos, so it's a big help to have sponsors for these videos. So thank you, Alien Stake Pool. Then we can switch back to the AMA. I'm back. What questions do we got? Someone said we need next-gen policymakers. That's so true, man. Yeah, because I don't like the people currently making the tax policies for cryptocurrency, right? Because so my payments are for Bloom, for example, are taxed on arrival, right? So say I get paid $1,000 at 10 cents. Well, I'm taxed $1,000 at 10 cents, but let's say I don't sell the Aida, right? Because obviously pool operators aren't going to be, they're going to be holding as much of the Aida as possible because they believe in the system. So when tax time comes around, say March or April, well, I have to pay the taxes on the amount that I receive. So if Aida goes down to 3 cents, I still have to pay the taxes for $1,000 at 10 cents, even though it's at 3 cents, right? And I haven't had it for a year, so it's not like I can claim capital loss, right? So the U.S. tax policy for cryptocurrency sucks. Cryptocurrency is a high risk asset, and it should be taxed as such. It's not right that our payments are taxed as income, and then the date that we have to actually pay the taxes, the percentage can be different relative to the amount. I mean, obviously it can be good for you, like, oh, I got paid at 10 cents, now it's worth $1. That's a good thing, but I see the latter happening more often, so we do need some next-gen policymakers. Motivation Needs said, I see. Thanks. Bloom 2. I'll wait till December and see what moves I have. For sure, man. Thanks for waiting. I appreciate you still staking. Keep these questions coming or we'll hop off. It seems we've been going for 50 minutes. That's a little longer than I expected. Time has flown. Keep these questions coming and we will keep going. Sassy Boy said, I was the second person to hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate that. In the past, I used to like my own videos. I haven't done it in a while, but it was so sad, I'd get like 5 likes per video, and I'd be 20% of those likes. When you go, like, how YouTube like kind of categorizes all of your likes in a playlist. When you go to my playlist, it's just all of my old videos. It's pretty sad. Beyond said, best way to get my friends into the crypto space. This is a good question. I've really been struggling with this a lot too, man. I don't know how to bring people in the cryptocurrency space, right? My friends honestly make fun of me at this point, right? Because I start talking about inflation, the inflation of the dollar, the qualitative easing of the feds, and you start to sound like a conspiracy theorist when you go down that path, right? But to me, that path is what got me interested in cryptocurrency so much, so you start to sound like a conspiracy theorist, and that starts to make them not interested in it, right? So the only really 2 ways that I get people interested in cryptocurrency right now is either from greed, right? Greed's a big one, or financial freedom. Those are really the only 2 ways that I know to bring people into the cryptocurrency space, greed or financial freedom. And you can put incentives kind of in the greed category, right? If you incentivize people to use cryptocurrency because it's easier and it pays you more, or you get cash back, or there's some sort of benefit, I feel like that falls into the greed category. So really you kind of tell the tales of financial freedom and act like, or not act like, but kind of tell them that this is the doomer coming out again, that we're kind of moving towards really in a lot of countries an authoritarian state, and imagine we have a centralized digital currency that can track every transaction you make and tie that to your identity, and kind of have an algorithm that searches for, let's say, for example, you're in a country that has illegal weed, right? And you want to grow weed because it's illegal to buy it or whatever. So you buy a tent and a light and nutrition, whatever you need for it. And you have this government algorithm that tracks all of your transactions, that sees, okay, this guy bought a grow light, and he brought a tent, and he bought this special nutrition for it, right? So that flags you, it's like, this guy is obviously not growing basil, so that's kind of the easiest way I know to kind of warn people about this. Say we have 2 options here, right? We saw what the internet did, and the next step is cryptocurrency, right? And the government is going to adopt cryptocurrency. So we as the people kind of have a choice right now to either choose one path, and that's the path to financial freedom, or another path, and that's the path to kind of a centralized currency authoritarian state where we have cameras on every corner and everything we do down to our transactions are tracked, and we're thrown into kind of databases where they can use pattern recognition to see exactly what we're buying and if we're breaking any rules. But the issue is, that doesn't scare everyone, right? To me, that sounds absolutely terrifying. But some people just don't really care about that, right? Some people just only care about greed, right? So I think those are the only two ways to kind of get people in here. Othmer said, is it too late to start staking? I am new to DeFi and crypto. If you mean about Cardano, it's actually one of the best times to stake ever. The staking rewards go down over time for Cardano. So if you start staking right now, you'll be earning more rewards now than you will in a year or 2 years from now or 3 years from now. So I think it's a great time to start staking Aida. In Sweden, we have something called ISK, Individual Savings Account, created to just purchase stocks through. It's made to simplify the tax policies regarding purchases of that kind, and you are taxed as a Schablon or a stencil amount of 0.3. That's pretty low, man. Whether it goes down or up, nothing else. That's pretty awesome, man. That sounds like a better way to go. Arca said, "Hey, you said K reaching 500 is bad now. Why so?" I'll read the rest of the comments and then I'll kind of give a little rundown. I've already talked about it like 3 or 4 times, so I will come back to it in 1 second. These kind of constructions would be nice to have on high-risk assets as well to simplify the balance of risk involved at the current state of crypto in general. Yeah, I agree. What kind of crypto jobs do you think people can have without formal training? I mean, you can be a YouTuber, a content creator, you can be a developer. There's a lot of things you can do in the crypto industry without formal training. However, you will have to have informal training, right? I mean, you can be a stake pool operator without any formal training. You know, there's no certification or anything. There's a lot of jobs in the cryptocurrency without formal training. It's just you have to kind of have some informal training, you know, yourself. And you kind of have to be here for a while. You know, you have to learn and see what the market values, you know. Why does Charles keep saying he doesn't care about the price? All that does is piss off a lot of people who have been holding Aida for a while. He already has more money than he knows what to deal with it. I mean, that might have a little bit to deal with it. The fact that he has all that money, but I don't think that's the reason. He's saying that because he's stating that he cares about the fundamentals, right? He needs to have good technology. He needs to have incentives for people to come over here. He needs to essentially do everything he's been doing, right? Because he believes that if you have the incentive structure there and you follow the fundamentals, then they will come, right? If you do everything right, the marketing, just every aspect of it, then they will come. You can't spend every day worrying about price because you can't control the price, right? So if he based all of his design decisions on price, then we would have pump and dumps. You know, we would have a lot of the things that a lot of these other cryptocurrencies do. You know, you would have coin burns. You would just have a lot of like greed here too, right? Whereas the community we have here isn't really about greed. You know, you'll see it sometimes, but really we're here for the tech. You know, we're here to be builders. You know, we're here to really have a better cryptocurrency. You know, we're here for financial freedom and all these ideologies. But if you start focusing on price every day, it's just going to lead you down a terrible road, I think. You know, I don't pay attention to it every day unless I'm in the buying portion. You know, I have some liquidity that I need to put into a cryptocurrency, but I don't buy Aida anymore. So there's no reason for me to watch it, you know, unless I plan on selling. You know, it's a massive bull run. Because if I check at 8 cents, 7 cents, 10 cents, 11 cents, you know, it starts to weigh on you depending on how much money you have in there. You know, if you have 10% of your net worth in there, then you'll start to be like, ooh. Or if some crazy people have like 90% of their net worth in Aida, you know. So, I mean, that's crazy, but you start really, you start basing your emotions off of it, you know. So he can't do that. He just needs to worry about the tech and needs to make sure that things are done right, you know. So that's why he says that. Yeah, in my experience, people don't care about the government. Thanks for your input. Appreciate it. Yeah, most people don't care about the government. You know, you kind of had to have had some bad times in your life to realize that you have to kind of be your own savior, you know. But I mean, if you've had someone take care of you your whole life, you know, if you've had a good upbringing, if everything's been paid for your entire life, and then you leave and go to a 4-year university, and then at that 4-year university, everything's paid for, and you get to study and spend time with your friends, and all of your food's paid for, and then after you graduate, you get a good job, and you get good income. You know, what's really wrong with the world? You know, nothing's wrong with the world in your eyes, right? So how could you ever hate the government when everything's been great? You know, there's no bad actors. So I think that that has to be taken into account, because it's hard to convince those people that there are bad actors in the world, you know, and people are out there to take your freedoms from you for more power, you know. So yeah, that's how you convince me, is you go down that path. But the only other way is greed, like I said. Rob said, don't try and bring people into crypto. They'll only blame you when it crashes. Let them ride in your Lamborghini next year and watch them FOMO in. I agree with you a little bit, Rob, but at the same time, you have to educate people on cryptocurrency. You know, I tell them that you only need to invest what you're willing to lose. You have to start off and say that, but you can't say, oh, if you get into Aida, you're going to make $1 million, right? You just have to say, I usually lean on the, hey, we need financial freedom. If we don't, we're going to head towards a centralized currency, and all of these other utilities to it. You know, you're in 5.5% a year. Just like, you can't say you're going to earn a bunch of money, because then they will hate you. But I see where you're coming from. But I do think it's important to tell people about what you're doing and how much you believe in cryptocurrency, because imagine if every day, I mean, let's say there's 1 million users in cryptocurrency right now. Imagine 1 million people all told one other person each day, right? So then it's an exponential cascading amount of people that know about cryptocurrency and that are interested in it, you know? So I think it's important to tell people about it. You know, you can't just not tell anybody, and then the first time they hear about it is from CNN, you know? Ira said, still 6 likes. I got 101 likes on my end. I think yours might be a little glitched. Crypto said, freedom is more sustainable than greed. I agree with you, man, for sure. Anton said, only proper adoption will drive price. Exactly. That's why you can't focus on price day to day, you know, unless you're a pump and dump coin. Alexander said, hey, thanks for swinging by today. I really appreciate it. He wants you to stake for the right reason. Yep, you're right. Do operators earn rewards on their pledge in a similar way the rewards are earned on stake? Exactly. Yes, that's true. You earn the same amount of rewards. Unless you consider the rewards from your pool part of your rewards, then you would earn more, you know, but I don't. I separate them in my eyes. What up with Litecoin fork? I don't know. I haven't heard anything more about it. I heard a little bit about the Velvet fork. That's really all I've heard, that they're talking about it. Charlie Lee was interested in it, and he's down for it. Which tech or programming paradigm are key to understand more about Cardano? Well, it depends on what you want to do within Cardano, right? I mean, which tech would be important to understand more about Cardano? I mean, I would say cryptocurrency is probably the most important tech to understand to learn more about Cardano. You know, starting with Bitcoin and really the evolution of Bitcoin to proof of stake. You know, that's really important to understand what's going on here. Maybe even the DAO hack. You know, you have kind of Ethereum Classic being made because of the governance issues, you know, so that's kind of why Cardano's here today, because we all believe that there needs to be voting and governance within Cardano. Like, the most important tech is definitely cryptocurrency to learn about Cardano, but as far as programming language, currently the best programming language to learn would be Haskell, because Plutus is pretty much a specialized version of Haskell, and Plutus is the smart contracting language for Cardano. So if you want to build apps on Cardano, then Plutus is what you should learn. If you want to be a stake pool operator, the best thing that you would learn would be networking skills, like some sysadmin stuff, or Linux. You know, you have to learn Linux and maybe scripting, or learn a little bit about Bash, you know. So as far as what technology you need to know about Cardano, highly depends on what you want to do, you know, whether you want to build or whether you want to stake, or it's highly variable dependent on your intentions, you know. So I hope that helps. Do stake pool operators, oh, I already answered that one. Tech and fundamentals over short-term price movements. Exactly. And that's why I'm here for Aida. Because it took a while. We sat there at 3 cents for a long time. The dark days of Cardano at 3 cents and 2 cents and 3 cents and 4 cents and 5 cents and 3 cents. The dark days. People thought we would never come back. Shelley would never be released. And here we are with a 3x price movement, right? So it just takes time and tech and fundamentals and adoption, and then the price will increase. Kevron said, what is your opinion on Cardano kids? Do you mean like the artwork? Will you let's talk a little bit more, Kevron. Explain a little bit more and I'll answer you. TMI fanboy said, all right, caught you live. Awesome, man. I appreciate you swinging by during the live stream. Farrah said, 102 now. Sorry, just got here. No problem. Thanks for keep burping. I'm sorry about that. Sorry I just got here. No problem. Thanks for swinging by. Do you mean like my opinion on the idea? Do you mean my opinion on the artwork? Or like on him as a person? How hard is it to find developers to build on Cardano? Is there a marketplace to find people with these skills/expertise? I'm sure there's a marketplace for this. I would honestly say Telegram is a good place to find people. You can always find people willing to build things on Cardano, but you have to keep in mind that the functionality is a bit limited right now, right? So, I mean, we don't have Goguen. You know, really the only thing that we can hold within the blockchain right now is metadata, you know, with JSON files. So there's not really much you can build on top of Cardano other than things like that hold data within metadata, you know. So we can't really build smart contracts or anything else. So if that's what you're looking for, there's definitely people out there. But if you need people with Haskell experience, is a little bit more limited. But there's definitely a marketplace for people that know Haskell and in turn will know the specialized version of Plutus. Othmer said, which other projects are similarly important to you compared to Cardano? That's a good question. I will answer the NFT question just to send it off. I like the idea of doing NFTs now, but I'm not partial to the artwork myself. Are you planning to purchase any? Yeah. Actually, I was actually. This is a little bit confident and a little bit bullish, but I see cryptocurrency, not financial advice, going through a bull run here soon. I don't know when, but I think it's going to be in kind of the short to midterm timeline. And what happens when you have a massive bull run with cryptocurrency is the YouTube views go up. You know, you have networks talking about it, CNN, MSNBC, all of these kind of mainstream media platforms talking about it. So you get a lot of eyes coming on YouTube. It's people start flooding in with fear of missing out. So what happens is the YouTube views go up, right? So my channel will be doing better. Crypto Crow will be doing better. Kaizen will be doing it. Rick, everybody. I mean, if you look back at 2017, I mean, people were popping off with 1 million views per video. You know, I mean, you'd have Crypto Crow getting 50,000, 100,000, 50,000, 100,000. Whereas now he only gets as many as I do, you know. So what I would like to do with NFTs, I'm really a big fan of art. What I would like to do is hire an artist. I would like to sell my own NFTs and pay an artist to make those and sell them with the channel. And it would be cool to have some sort of like way for you guys to send your NFTs in chat, and a way for you guys to kind of show off and have a limited supply and sell like maybe an NFT every month or every week. I really like art. So if I could find an artist that I really like and a way to facilitate the creation of art, and give a lot of that money to the artist and have like something that you guys could, like a non-fungible token that you guys could trade, I think that would be really cool. So as far as what I think of NFTs, I think they're really awesome, and I would like to definitely do that. And how awesome would it be to sell like a print alongside the NFTs and kind of have some on my walls behind me and stuff like that. So yeah, I do look forward to kind of the next bull market, and I have a lot of stuff in my mind as far as what I want to do with NFTs. So what do you guys think of that? Would you buy some artwork if it was pretty awesome? Mulky Dot said, during Goguen, are we still going to earn about 5% rewards plus other tokens rewards? Yes, we are. So yeah, I didn't answer this question. Which other projects are similarly important to you compared to Cardano? I don't have much time for anything other than Cardano. I know that's a terrible idea. I'm not diversified enough, but really the two projects that I believe in right now are Cardano and, you're going to laugh at this, BAT and Brave. Basic attention token, not financial advice, but I think BAT and Brave have probably the most users out of any other cryptocurrency there is. They have a product that works, that makes sense, that people enjoy, that I enjoy. They have a good incentive structure, right? They incentivize people to advertise it. So we talked earlier about, imagine if one person every day told another person about cryptocurrency, and that will cause this exponential growth rate. Well, BAT has that. They pay YouTubers to advertise their product, right? And they pay them a good amount. Per download, I make $7 off of it. You know, I don't get many downloads. You know, I probably make like $50 to $100 a month from it, you know, but it's enough for me to do it, and that's enough for a bunch of other YouTubers to do it. And you already have a lot of big YouTubers adopting it. And you have I want to say there's millions of users that use Brave every day. I think on the Play Store, I saw like 20 million downloads. There's a bunch of downloads on desktop. There's a bunch of downloads on iOS. There's downloads on Linux. I think Brave is probably one of the most used, it's probably one of the most used browsers there is, and it has cryptocurrency tied into it, right? So as far as other projects that I'm interested in, it's really basic attention token. I like the incentive structure. I like the incentive structure for advertisers. Like their click-through rate on advertisements is on Brave is more than any other advertising thing that you can pay for, advertising platform that you can pay for. And I just, like I said, all the users, I really do think BAT is going to be here to stay for a long time, and so will the Brave browser. The advancement of culture in crypto is going to be a huge for massive adoption. Yeah, I agree. Jay Colkin said, will the rewards go down after December 6th because of the K increase? Yes. Every time I say yes because the rewards will go down, people are like, he's saying that to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt. No, it's not fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's the truth, man. Rewards are going to go down. Beyond said, hell, can't say that word. Yeah, I'd buy that up. I thought that would be pretty awesome, man. Yeah, it'd be so cool to be able to facilitate art with this channel, It'd be cool to have like an artist that we all liked, we could bring him on for a podcast or something. Dave said, crypto down, banks up. Why does it not track stock market both ways? Do you mean, we're pretty correlated with the stock market, but recently we've been coming off. I'm not sure why though. I'm not sure why. Sometimes we are, sometimes we aren't. Kevron said, if it's cool to keep asking questions, yeah, ask as many as you want, man. He said, how do you feel about the Liquid project? I have not looked into it enough yet. I am going to however, try to have him on a podcast. So I'll give you my opinion afterwards. Money flowing from crypto to ride the wave up on the news of vaccine. Yeah, true. That was some interesting timing on that vaccine news, wasn't it? Okay, this is a little bit conspiracy and a little bit political, but it's just kind of ironic that we get the vaccine news a day after Biden's the projected president. Just like 2 days later, it's like we don't hear any vaccine news. We never know if it's going to come. But then 2 days after Biden's the projected elect, it's like 90% effective rate, Pfizer, from New York Times. It's like pretty. I almost just screwed it up there. Pretty ironic. So I heard of Neuralink, Cardano's Chainlink. Oh, Nutlink. Okay, Cardano's Chainlink. Will Aida stakers be able to be paid in Nutlink if Nutlink transaction fees are sent to stakers? You already are being paid for transactions, so yes, but you're not going to be paid in Nutlink. Is that what it's called? I don't think it's called. I guess it is nut.link, isn't it? I don't see any tokenomics attached to it. I don't see any, so there's no way for you to earn nuts or nut tokens so far. But who knows? I bet something will come out of that. Does Brave have limitations due to it being built on ETH? Yes, it does. I have to pay a lot for, I have to pay a lot, just to move it. It's pretty awful. But I am going to go ahead and end this live stream here. We've been going for an hour and 13 minutes. If you guys made it this far, make sure you comment proof of work on the comment section down below. I really appreciate it. Also, one more thank you to our sponsor, Alien Stake Pool. Will be in the description down below. I really appreciate your sponsor. I had a great time. We do these AMAs every Monday at 3 p.m. EST. I've been trying to do a little schedule here, so Wednesday we'll have our weekly recap. Friday we'll have another Cardano Aura episode. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you always have content. I'll be making some Tracer videos here soon too. Make sure you guys click a like and that notification bell before we hop off here. Answer a couple more questions. Great stuff. Cheers. Cheers, man. These nuts. Exactly, man. I already read that one. Proof of work. Yep. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your week. A lot of things happening.